everybody. I'm Joe.
And I'm Melissa.
And together we are J&M Photo Video, and we'd like to welcome you back to our podcast, Blue Hour, where we talk about all things wedding photography, videography, and creative entrepreneurship.
This podcast is geared to anybody in the wedding industry and anybody planning a wedding.
Why do we call it Blue Hour?
So we call it Blue Hour because the first hour after sunset is called Blue Hour. It's when the sun crosses the horizon and it casts a blue glow. And we hope to record this during Blue Hour once our kids are in bed, but they're rarely ever in bed by Blue Hour. But summer's coming. Maybe.
Maybe we have a chance.
Maybe. All right.
What's in your editing queue lately? Do you want to recap us in the past week or two?
So it's been a little while since we've recorded in this space.
Yes.
Our last episode was on location. We had Ana Lopez Cobb as a guest, and she talked about her venues, the Shenandoah, as well as Cloud9 and her photography business.
Our first guest.
And that was so exciting to have a guest on Blue Hour. We really enjoyed that. And we're going to be reaching out to some other people that have had interest in being guests here soon to try and get some more people on the podcast. But we shot our first wedding since we last recorded down here for the year.
Yes.
So I've been working on that.
And the couple session was pretty much during Blue Hour.
Yeah, the couple session was like straight up Blue Hour, which was great. We were on golf carts and Joe was like, "Oh, it's Blue Hour. We should story." But it was like,
but we were holding cameras. We had
a golf cart. Each had two cameras and golf cart and hills, and it was the time. But
a fun time.
It was so fun.
But a time.
Great first wedding to start the year.
Yes, I agree.
So I've been working on that gallery. I'm in the middle of editing it right now. So
we have a lot of engagement shoots coming up.
Yes, we have a ton of engagement shoots. I feel like a lot of our couples for 2024 have scheduled their engagement sessions in the spring. So now that things are starting to get warmer and things are starting to look green, and it's not stick season anymore. Yeah. We're having a lot of engagement sessions, which is super exciting.
Yes. I'm pretty pumped about them.
Yeah.
And that's actually a really good segue into our topic for today, which is
engagement sessions.
Tips for your engagement session and why to have an engagement session.
Yeah. So an engagement session, you're only engaged for a certain amount of time. So from the time you say yes until the time you say I do, that could be a few months, it could be a few years. You only have a fiance for so long. And so having an engagement session really freezes that moment in time for you.
Yep.
Where I don't know, and you have so many extra choices, I feel like, with an engagement session.
Yep.
And we can talk about those as we go, but I feel like an engagement session can really show your personality even more so than your wedding day can.
Very much. I definitely agree.
So anyway, I feel like freezing that moment in time of how you look as fiancés is important and is valuable.
Yeah.
So
because it's going to be a different look. You're going to be in more comfortable clothing.
Yeah,
you're going to be in a comfortable place.
Right.
You're not going to be in the rush of wedding day.
Right. And it's a lot more relaxed. I like to tell our couples, I don't know if you do this because I've never followed you around on an engagement session, but I always tell our couples that what we do on an engagement session that takes us an hour or 90 minutes, we do in about 10 to 15 on wedding day.
Yes.
So having an engagement session and having the practice, really, I think helps on wedding day.
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
We've put you in poses, we've done the whole thing already, and you've had a little practice where it was a more relaxed environment.
Yes.
Than it is on wedding day.
Yeah, that's so helpful to get people in front of the camera, get people comfortable, get used to kind of our method of posing is not super posy, right? But we do still give you some direction.
Yeah,
and we
for
do
sure.
And I think that's common across photographers, right? At least all the people I know and respect in the area are going to give you some kind of prompt and help you look good, right? And everybody has their own way of saying that. So to be able to get in front of somebody's camera and do all of that before it's squished into 15 minutes or 20 minutes max on your wedding day.
Right.
All the way down to 5 minutes sometimes.
Yeah. It all depends on how much time you have in your timeline.
Right.
That you can allot to your couple session on your wedding day.
Yeah. But to do that in a setting that is special to you and outside of wedding day and is a fun environment is just a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. So we generally offer engagement sessions with most of our packages.
Yes.
We just feel like it's so valuable and so important to freeze that moment in time, as well as get the couple in front of our camera before wedding day. It also helps to get a face-to-face conversation with them, because a lot of times we're talking to our couples via FaceTime or Zoom or just on the phone.
Yeah, or a text message.
Yeah. And
or
like
email.
We've never spoken face to face. And so having that hour to walk around a place that means something to them, or a place that, like, sometimes we offer suggestions to places and the couple's never been. They've just looked it up online and they're like, oh, that's cute, let's go there.
Yep.
But it might mean something to us too. Like, I don't know. We do a ton of engagement sessions in Harpers Ferry.
We do.
And I love Harpers Ferry. I used to work at Harpers Ferry. Like, I don't know. The Ranger in me comes out when I do those sessions.
I'm sure it does.
And I like give little snippets of history. And I don't know if my couples like that or not.
I wish I could watch you do one of those. Do you do the Rangers pointing at things?
No,
too?
I don't really point at things. I just if we go certain locations, like as we're walking, I'll be like, so this happened in like 1862. And like,
do people respond to that?
Like normally it's the groom. Yeah. The groom is into it. The bride is like, what are you doing?
That's funny. That's funny. I wish I could be a fly on the wall for one of those.
Yeah, well.
I don't include history with my engagement sessions. I just chat about stuff.
Yeah.
Going on.
Okay.
Wedding planning and such.
Yeah.
But it is that really like nice time to be together in a place, and like we said, just get used to having a camera pointed at
right.
you.
And I feel like we get to know our couples more too, because like as you are walking from location to location, like you can just have a conversation with them.
Yeah, exactly. I love finding out like what people do for work.
Yeah.
And
because we don't often know that right away.
What music people like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really cool to get to that level of detail with someone that you would never get to in an email or.
Right.
We ask some of those questions in our questionnaire to just try to like have a little bit more information about our people, but to have that conversation in real life during
it's more
shoot,
valuable.
It's really valuable because you have all those elements like coming together.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting back to it, we offer engagement sessions with most of our packages. The only one we don't is like our customizable, like elopement micro wedding one.
Right.
Because oftentimes elopements or micro weddings are on such a short timeline.
Right.
That you can't always get an engagement session scheduled in time.
Or you've done an elopement where they did like kind of an extended couple session after. Right? Like they did their elopement.
Are you thinking the Halloween one I did?
And they went one or two places with you like afterward, where you pretty much had what you would do in an engagement.
I mean,
shoot.
that was an elopement. It was literally me, the officiant, and them. That's it. We went to other location, or I guess like 1.5 other locations.
Right.
After they were married, and we extended the session. But
point being that we don't usually include a session with that because that one's so customizable and different for everybody.
Right. But if you've already booked your photographer and they offer an engagement session, do it. Do it because it gives you a good practice before wedding day, gets you in front of their camera, gets you the practice of their posing style.
Yep.
I mean, we have poses that we typically always do. We run through on wedding day, and I kind of do all of those on engagement sessions as well. And it just helps build that rapport with your photographer.
Yeah, we touched on that earlier, but it's just so important to be all in the same place, all at the same time. Being able to talk about things like occupation and music and everything else is just really nice to be able to do that and take photos and be in a cool place like all at the same time.
Yeah, and I mean, engagement sessions are supposed to be fun.
Exactly.
I rarely don't have a good time on an engagement session.
Yes.
Like I'm learning about my couple. I'm having fun. I'm in a cool place. I just love engagement sessions.
Yeah.
So.
But point being, if you have already booked someone, you probably know whether or not there's an engagement session included. Right. Some people book just engagement sessions too, and then go the opposite way and roll that into a wedding package somehow.
Right.
Too. So
I think I was listening to a Taylor Jackson podcast, and he was talking about how when he first started out in the wedding business, he would offer engagement sessions like I don't remember if he said they were like discounted or free or whatever he said, but he would do that. And if they liked what they got, then they like would book him for his weddings.
That's a really nice way to do it too.
So a lot of people, I think, sometimes they want to do an engagement session before they book their photographer because an engagement session investment is a lot less than a full wedding investment.
Much less scary.
So, I mean, you're looking at a couple $100 for an hour, 90-minute session compared to thousands of dollars for your wedding day.
Yep.
So. Yep. Anyway.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, I mean, you get different images in a different place.
And I always encourage our couples to pick a place that means something to them.
Yes.
Or a place that they think is pretty or they want to go.
Right.
I mean, we always have suggestions if they don't know of any places, but.
Where's the funnest place you've been? I don't, that's not even like a word, but like, what's the most fun, like.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
I got one. So I had a couple years ago who knew about this waterfall.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
And we hiked forever.
Yeah.
Like forever. It felt like anyway.
Yeah.
It was fun. We're doing all the things we've been talking about. We've been chatting.
Yeah.
And like, we just got to hop this fence. No big deal.
Yeah.
So we hopped a fence, kept going.
Right.
And it turned out to be a gorgeous waterfall.
Right.
It was super pretty.
Yeah.
I wish I knew where it was, but it was like.
You'll never find it again.
No, I'll never find it again. But it was like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Like it was just a really cool place to be. I know I soaked my boots.
Yeah.
Because I had like cheapy boots on that I like didn't care about in case they got muddy. But I stepped in the water and like, oh, that was a mistake. Oh. That was probably the most fun place that I've been to.
Yeah. I don't know what I feel like a lot of the engagement sessions I have done have been places that like we normally do.
Yes.
I do a lot at Harper's Ferry. I've done the Sino Canal. I've done like I guess my last engagement session, I had a really fun time with the couple and they wanted to go, and this was the furthest I've ever driven for an engagement session. I think I drove like an hour and a half. And they wanted to go to this farm garden place where they have worked together. And I was like, that's
cool.
That's great. I love that. Because it meant something to them. And so like I was willing to drive that far for their engagement session to go to a place that means something to them.
Exactly what we've been talking about.
Because I don't know, your wedding, you book your venue based on needs that you have for your wedding.
Right.
Does it accommodate my guest list?
Right.
Does it let me do the things I want to do?
Right.
Does it meet all of these check box items?
Right.
Right. Whereas like your engagement session, you could pretty much have it anywhere.
Right.
And it could be whatever vibe and style you want. So.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, when we got engaged, we had our engagement session at a place that meant something to us.
Right.
So I just love when couples choose the place that they like, that they love.
Yes.
So. Yeah.
Can we take a second and give a shout out to the great photo experiences we've had as a couple that have contributed to why our heart is in this so much.
Yeah.
Like I feel like both of our major engagement and wedding photos were so meaningful to us.
Right.
They were a big contributing factor into why we do this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have those photos hanging in our house.
Indeed.
So
I was on a video call with him in the background tonight.
Were you?
Yep, sure was.
Cool.
So
our wedding photos, right?
Yeah, wedding photos. Yeah.
I'm trying to think where you took the call. Yeah. Okay.
So let me ask you the most asked question about engagement sessions.
Yeah.
What do I wear?
So we typically always suggest to think coordinating, not matchy-matchy.
Right.
So, like if you're wearing a dress that has flowers on it, put him in a shirt that picks one of the colors of the flowers. That's a solid. And more neutrals than bright colors.
Agreed. White, you kind of turn into like a reflector.
Yeah.
And it makes it a little bit more hard to edit.
However, a lot of brides like to wear white.
That's true.
For their engagement sessions.
Yes.
Which is fine.
We don't mind white.
We don't mind white.
But sometimes, like, especially on the guy.
Yeah.
White can be kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Because it can wash people out too.
For sure.
So you can find a color that complements your skin tone really well.
Yeah.
That complements maybe the season that you're having them taken in as well.
Yeah, we got our engagement photos done in the fall, and we did 2 different outfits, which we always let our couples do too. If they want to do an outfit change, they're more than welcome to.
Yep.
But I wore a mustard colored dress for one outfit. And then I had like a jeans and a like cream sweater for my second outfit.
Yep.
And you were in like green and brown.
Yeah.
I don't remember what your second outfit was.
It might have been blue and jeans.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Blue and jeans.
Yeah.
Blue shirt and jeans.
Yeah. And something I always try to remember to say is avoid really small patterns.
Yeah.
Like super small patterns, like really small, like gingham or houndstooth. Those typically are really hard for camera sensors to resolve.
Right.
It seems like the funniest thing, but like those small little checkered patterns just don't mix with digital cameras.
Yeah.
So I do tell people to avoid those usually.
I haven't noticed that as much with photo, but for video, that's definitely an issue.
Definitely in video, sometimes in photo, depending on the light, but it's just good general practice to try to avoid those if you can.
Yeah. So do you have any suggestions for the guys for engagement sessions?
Yeah. Wear something you're comfortable in and you're happy with. Let your fiance have some input. That's always nice.
For sure.
I can always tell when the guy shows up and like doesn't really like want to be involved.
Yeah.
And
be happy.
Yeah, be happy. Be cool.
Yeah. We're going to make it a fun time.
Yeah, we always make it a fun time. But yeah, let her have some input. Have as few logos as possible. Logos are fine if that's like your thing.
If that's your vibe, go for it.
If you're always wearing something with a logo on it, do it. But generally as few logos as possible.
Right.
I usually see my guys wear logos more than girls.
It might be like a polo with like a little something.
That's totally fine. But like a hoodie with like a larger logo across it is usually not my favorite thing. But again, if it's your vibe, that's your vibe.
Yeah.
So, but that's really all the advice I have. Hats.
I mean, if it's your vibe,
if it's your thing.
Are you going to wear a hat on your wedding day?
Right.
Are you going to wear sunglasses on your wedding day?
Right.
Like those are questions that I like to.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a couple. They didn't do an engagement session with us because I think they had a friend do their engagement photos. But on wedding day, he wore like a cowboy hat, and like had he showed up to his engagement session with his cowboy hat, I don't know. I always ask the bride, I'm like, "Do you want him wearing his hat?" Yeah. Like I casually be like, "Do you want a few without the hat?" And like sometimes she's like, yeah, or sometimes she's like, no, that's his thing. Like I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I let it be. Because if that's how he's known, wearing a hat, I'm gonna let it be.
I usually try to do like half and half. Like I'll do a few with it, few without it.
Yeah.
If it's just really not vibing for the guy, I'll just
because I want him comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
If he's comfortable in his hat, wear your hat.
Yep.
So
yeah. I think it's a pretty fair overview of what to wear. I don't think we're forgetting anything there.
No, just have fun. Be comfortable.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Wear reasonable shoes.
Yeah, because I don't know. We walk a lot on engagement sessions.
We do tend to walk a little bit.
I mean, I tend to walk a ton.
Yeah.
So when the girl is in heels, I always feel bad for her. I had this one bride, and I'm so excited for her wedding. It's coming up in a couple months. She wore like 4-inch heels for her photos.
Nice.
But she took them off every time we moved locations and put on Crocs. She's
smart.
like, I'm not walking in heels. And like, so we had to pause every.
That's a great tip, actually.
Yeah. She just like slid on her heels and slipped them off and put on Crocs. I mean, Crocs were easy to carry. So.
Yeah. Easy on off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she didn't care to just throw them on the ground when we got to the next location because they're Crocs.
The joy of Crocs.
Yeah.
Not sponsored.
I mean, how many times have we seen Crocs on a dance floor at a wedding reception?
This is true.
You know, because like
true.
You don't want to be in your bare feet at a wedding reception.
Yeah.
Like Crocs are at least going to protect your feet a little bit.
Yeah, not recommended. We see a lot of broken glass on dance floors.
This podcast is not about weddings. This is about engagement sessions.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So I was thinking earlier, I was administering a nap time.
Nice.
And I thought about this idea of like, would you rather engagement session?
Cool.
So I'm going to ask you.
Let's do it.
And like this might spark some more conversation between us. I got to scroll. I got to find my notes here. All right. So would you rather shoot during golden hour or midday?
Golden hour is the easy answer.
Yeah, because golden hour is great.
But I'll shoot midday too.
Okay. So I like shooting like right before golden hour because you get some of that like not golden hour light, and then you're ending the session with the golden hour. So it gives like the couple both.
Something I want to do this year, and I'm putting it out on the podcast, so you got to hold me accountable. I want to experiment more with hard light.
Yeah.
And shapes and backgrounds and things like that, because I've seen some really cool work lately with that, and I want to try to incorporate that into
your flow.
Yeah, into my flow this year.
Would you rather shoot in a park or a city?
I'm a city boy.
Yeah.
I'd rather shoot in a city.
Yeah,
I like the textures.
I like the textures and the buildings.
Yeah.
But I also like open spaces.
True.
So, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the parks that our couples tend to choose to go to, there's some sort of building with texture too. It's not like a cityscape, but it's something.
Yeah. We should back up and say that we love all engagement sessions.
Oh, we do.
All places.
100%.
Like, if you're listening to this, don't base your preferences on this. We're just having some fun. We're just
having fun. Would you rather do an engagement session in the winter or the fall?
Fall.
100% the fall.
Yes.
Give me the fall colors. However, we are normally very busy in the fall.
I do like winter light.
Winter light is
winter
nice.
light when it hits. Like it is nice.
I just feel like it's hard to schedule stuff in the winter too because the sun sets so early, and there's so many holidays in the winter, and it's cold.
I've been on a couple shoots where like, oh, yep, there it went. There goes the sun.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah.
Like, and you didn't expect it, but it's winter, and like, it's so much shorter than you think it's going to be.
I mean, I'd rather shoot in the fall because it's just beautiful.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Give me that foliage. But the caveat to that is we have so many weddings in the fall because of the foliage.
Right.
So if you're booking us for an engagement session in the fall, it's going to be probably on a weekday.
Yeah.
So it's harder to get us on a weekend in the fall.
Yep.
Spring or summer for an engagement session?
Oh, you know my answer on that one. Spring.
Yes, spring.
Yeah, I sweat so hard.
He is very sweaty.
Spring,
because things are blooming. Sure. Things are nice.
Yeah.
I like to, I don't know, this is going to be kind of cheesy, but I like sessions when there's blooming flowers because like your relationship is blooming. Yeah. You're growing in your relationship. I don't know. It's a fresh thing because you're engaged and I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, cheesy, but I'll allow it.
It is pretty cheesy. Yeah. Okay, so now let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
Would you rather shoot in the fall or the spring?
Either. I'm more of a fall person in general.
I know. I love fall.
So I don't know. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'll take fall.
See, logistically, I like spring better.
True.
But I love the colors of fall. Yeah. Would you rather have one outfit or two?
Two outfits.
Two? Yeah, for sure. Because you can definitely show your personality more when you have two outfits.
Yes.
We normally suggest like a dressier one and then a casual one.
Yeah.
Would you rather do an engagement session outside or inside?
Outside because I know it and love it.
Yeah.
Inside, if we could find a studio space to...
See, I'm not even thinking studio.
Inside, like where?
Okay, and I'm putting this out on the podcast, so one of my couples, please want to do this.
Manifesting
this. I really want to do an engagement session in like an art museum or a coffee shop.
That would be cool.
Like, I want that to happen.
Yeah.
And I would even do like half at a park and half in an art museum.
Right.
Or half in a coffee shop.
I did a piece of one in a bookstore, and that was pretty fun.
I do remember you doing that.
That was pretty cool.
Like, I'm manifesting that. I want that.
That would be pretty cool.
So, because I know it outside, like I do so many engagement sessions outside, but I really want to like do one in like an art gallery.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I want that to happen.
Yeah, that'd be
And I think that's pretty trendy right now.
I think it is
Not that I care about trends. I've seen some really nice art lately.
Yes.
Of people doing engagement sessions in art museums, and I want to do it.
Very meta.
Okay.
Art. Making art in an art gallery.
Yeah, whatever.
Art in the background while making your art.
Okay, this is my last one. Couples pick the location or you pick the location?
Benefits to both.
I know.
So us picking the location, we know it. Mm-hmm. We've seen it. Mm-hmm. them picking the location can be more special to them and a surprise and challenge for us.
I love the challenge.
Yes. Do you?
Yes.
Talk about it. Unravel.
So obviously I love shooting at the places I know, and I challenge myself when I go to a location that I know to do something different than I've done before.
I can attest to that. You'll do it backwards, or you'll do it like in a different,
Like I mentioned earlier, like I've done so many engagement sessions at Harper's Ferry.
Yeah.
So like if you know Harper's Ferry at all, instead of starting at the train station, I'll start somewhere else and I'll end at the train station.
Yep.
Or I'll find a different nook and cranny.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like because I worked there, I know secret places that like most photographers don't use.
And you try to explain them to me and I have no clue what
he has no clue.
About.
Like I have to send him like a screenshot of a map with it circled of like, go to this spot.
And then there was that one where you were like, go here and then here. And I'm like, is this it? And you're like, no, but it'll work. Close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah.
But I like the challenge of somewhere new. Like I'm doing an engagement session tomorrow and I've never been there before.
Yeah.
And you know that tomorrow before I go, I'm going to like Google all the images I can to like get some inspo, get some ideas of what I'm looking at. I don't want to go in blind, right?
You never want to go completely blind.
But I'm excited for the challenge of a new location.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun.
That's cool. I got one.
Yeah.
50 mil or 35 mil?
Oh, why you got to ask me that? I like the 50 mil. What I normally do is I use the 50 mil for about 75% of the session.
Mm-hmm.
And then the back half is when I do like the detail stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll ask for her ring and I'll put it on something. And that's when I switch to the 35 because I like the way the 35 captures the details of the ring better than our 50 does.
Yep.
But I just love the 50.
Yeah, I know you do. I'm more chaotic than that.
You're chaotic?
Oh my gosh.
Do you switch lenses a lot?
Oh yeah, all the time. I'm like, stand there, hold on. Like, let me switch to this camera, get this view real quick.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if I had a different bag situation, or if I dual harnessed during an engagement session, I would switch between cameras. I know you dual harness pretty much.
But sometimes you don't want that vibe though.
I don't like that vibe on engagement sessions. I like it to be more like one camera and I'm focused just there.
Which you can absolutely do. You do not need two cameras.
No, you don't.
I just like the variety. I like being able to switch between like a 24 and a 50, for example.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I want that like landscape.
We've lost all of our non-photographer listeners with this 50 to 35 conversation.
I would imagine there's some photographers that are listening now.
I said non-photographers.
I know, but there's a small segment of our audience that's still here. Well, in that light, why don't we wrap it up then? Where can they find us?
Well, that was so negative and mean. They can find us. I just started a new Instagram account for Blue Hour.
Yes.
So you can find us at Blue Hour with J&M on Instagram. We're just on Instagram right now. And then J&M Photo Video can be found at jnmphotovideo.com.
Yep.
As well as on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all the places.
And the podcast itself, you can search Blue Hour with J&M on Apple, Spotify, Google, etc. And that's that.
All right, cool. Bye.
Bye.